This is how I thought a week would go. A few days taking down the crumbly ceiling plaster in the old kitchen. Messy, but straightforward enough. I imagined it would feel like this summer when we removed the mortar from the facade. Flaky paint giving way to brick, one thing leading neatly to the next. But this week didn't follow that rhythm. Nothing landed where I expected it to. This is what happened instead. This weekend I tried to remove some of the plaster, but very quickly it became clear. The only thing that's actually flaky is the paint. So instead of plaster, my week became about scraping paint. 20 square meters of it. And honestly, I could not be less excited.
Uh, 1540 was er één. Doe één. Meter 60 voor de zekerheid. En hier zit er 65 voor de zekerheid. gaat met...
Volgens mij niet beter dan without it.
Oké.
For someone. Ik zou het hier doorstarteren succes noemen.
Oké. So, ordering steamer.
Ja, of gewoon straight naar de stripper.
Ja.
Oké. Yeah, I don't know.
Order both and then see what works best.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now that we have to wait for the stripper and the steamer, how do I carry on in the kitchen?
Is there anything you can already do on the bread oven?
There's the last bits of plaster that I need to chip away. I guess I can do that.
Alright.
Maybe if we can make the kitchen warm enough, I could also take out the bricks and replace them with natural stone.
Oh, yeah.
But then we need to put a heater in there.
Yeah, to make it at least 5 degrees Celsius for the mortar. Yeah. I think we can do that.
Well, at least it's more exciting than scraping paint.
Sure. Yes.
I get to make all of this mess this week thanks to Incogni. I take care of the things that I can touch, the house, the garden. But not everything is meant to be handled by hand, like personal information floating around on the internet. That's why we use Incogni. They take care of what happens to our personal information online so that we don't have to chase anyone. Our attention gets to stay with the work that we care about. Incogni handles both public people search sites and business directories, as well as private data brokers that trade our information behind the scenes. They repeat removal requests every few months, making sure our personal details don't keep resurfacing where they don't belong. And the unlimited plan lets us request custom removals for sites Incogni doesn't scan by default. If you're getting a lot of phishing emails, spam calls, or have been targeted by online scammers, chances are that your personal data has ended up somewhere you don't want it. Incogni can keep your personal info safe as well. To set it up, go to incogni.com/Kashina.
Oké, precies. Ik ga je stof maken.
That's what it looks like.
Oh yeah, okay.
Clearly it's not that old.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not the opening. The fireplace might be older, but
Yeah.
this was done
Yeah.
recently,
Yeah.
I would say.
Mm-hmm.
But that opening is old because that's all nice and straight,
Nice and straight. Yeah.
so there was something in that wall before,
Yeah.
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So this is concrete
Yeah.
with terracotta tiles on top,
Okay. Yeah.
and then they filled this with brick.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think there was a fireplace before because this does go like a classic
Yeah.
chimney construction.
Mm-hmm.
So, but they just added or redid something at some point. Then they made this, well, arch. That's not really an arch.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we could redo this
Yeah.
to have like two nice upward pillar stones
Mhm.
and then big horizontal one. This doesn't need to be deep anyway. This is
No.
like
10.
10 centimeters,
Yeah.
11.
Mm-hmm.
So we need a long, nice stone that's like
34, 35 centimeters high, I think.
That's not a lot. So this is way too big unless we cut off.
Yes.
This is
And about
48.
29 to 30 deep.
29 to 30 deep. Yeah, that could be. Yeah, this is 30. Because this is, and the width,
Yeah, whatever you want, like 12 would be nice, I guess.
because this is 11 at the front,
That's also fine.
and this is nice. This one is pretty flat on the front.
Okay.
See, don't you think that would be nice for the front? Right,
mean this
right.
part, or-
Yeah, but it's not super nice because there's a chip
There's
missing.
something missing.
Ah, that's a pity. so this one is 78 long. And I think at the widest point it's like 14 and a half.
Looks like a good size. Very lintel-esque.
Lintel-esque. Oh my god. How is that even, you know, that doesn't qualify as a word. Oh yeah. Oh. Huh. Okay, so final measurements. So we just talked to our chimney man this afternoon.
What a sad story.
And we really wanted to keep the bread oven because it's such a cool feature of the house. Even though it's quite recent, the oven was built probably in the chimney guy said 80s, judging by what parts they used to do the construction. But he told us that we can't keep it unless we completely rebuild it. There's multiple reasons. The chimney flue, as it is now, it's a masonry flue, is too narrow to put in a tube that's the right size for the size of bread oven. And the floor of the oven is constructed with wood beams that have tiles over them. And he said that if we want to get the agibilità for this part of the house, which means basically that it's suitable for living, that it's up to code, that would be impossible with the wood beams still in there. So instead of a small project, rebuilding that whole structure, including the flue, is becoming a pretty huge project. It's also going to be pretty expensive. So that means that we're not keeping the bread oven, which is sad. The current plan is to keep the old flue, but put a closed heating source, either a termocucina, which is a wood cooker that you can also use to heat water to feed underfloor heating or radiators, or a termostufa, which is just like a wood stove, a wood burner, but also that heats water. For that, the flue is plenty big, and then we'll pull a liner through, or rather the chimney guy will do that, to make it up to code. We need to take away the wood beams for that, and yeah, just refinish the wall as we had planned before. So yeah, we're a bit sad, but that doesn't mean that we can never have a traditional style bread oven anymore. We have the old warehouse that we currently have our outdoor dining table in. That would be a perfect place for a bread oven. So there will be a bread oven again at some point on this farm. It just won't be in this kitchen. So all the finding stones to refinish the mouth of the bread oven that we did yesterday is all for nothing.